The world woke to shocking news on October 7, 2023. Hamas launched a large-scale attack against Israel. Rockets rained down on Israeli cities while fighters infiltrated the border. The images were stark burning buildings, terrified civilians, and chaos. Israel vowed swift retaliation. The situation escalated, drawing international condemnation. This wasn't just another flare-up. The scale and ferocity made it clear. This was different. The world held its breath, wondering what would come next. Could this be a catalyst for a new chapter in the search for peace? The events were a stark reminder of the fragility of peace. Amidst the despair, there was also a glimmer of hope. Perhaps this tragedy could be the impetus for a new conversation towards peace. The international community reacted with a mixture of condemnation and concern. The United States, Israel's staunchest ally, condemned the Hamas attacks and reaffirmed its commitment to Israel's security. European leaders expressed solidarity with Israel while urging restraint and calling for de-escalation. The United Nations Security Council held an emergency meeting, but failed to agree on a joint statement due to divisions among its members. Arab nations found themselves in a delicate position. While many condemned the violence and expressed support for the Palestinian people, they were also wary of being seen as condoning Hamas's actions. Egypt, a key mediator in the region, called for a ceasefire and urged both sides to return to the negotiating table. However, its influence seemed diminished in the face of the escalating crisis. Iran, a staunch supporter of Hamas, praised the attacks as a legitimate act of resistance against Israeli occupation. This stance further exacerbated tensions with the West and fueled concerns about Iran's destabilizing influence in the region. Russia, while calling for restraint, also used the opportunity to criticize the West's support for Israel and position itself as a potential mediator. The events of October 7, 2023, exposed the deep divisions within the international community and highlighted the complexities of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The lack of a unified international response underscored the difficulty of finding a peaceful resolution to this decades-old conflict. As the world grappled with the fallout of the attacks, it became increasingly clear that the path to peace would require a concerted effort from all stakeholders, including regional players and global powers. In the fog of war, truth often becomes the first casualty. The events of October 7, 2023 were no different. Misinformation and propaganda spread rapidly, making it difficult for the world to discern fact from fiction. Both sides accused each other of atrocities, and the media landscape became a battleground of narratives. Social media amplified the chaos, with false reports and doctored images circulating widely. The challenge of finding reliable information in such a charged environment underscored the need for responsible journalism and critical thinking. The battle for truth was as fierce as the physical conflict, and its outcome would shape public perception and policy decisions in the days and weeks to come. As internal conflicts escalate, the impact on global stability becomes increasingly apparent. These conflicts, often rooted in deep-seated historical grievances, can have far-reaching consequences. The ripple effects are felt worldwide, affecting international relations, economic stability, and humanitarian efforts. It's a complex web where local issues can quickly escalate into global crises. South Africa's stance on the matter has been a subject of intense debate. The International Criminal Court's verdict has added another layer of complexity to the situation. South Africa, balancing its national interests and international obligations, finds itself at a crossroads. The decision of the ICC has significant implications, not just for South Africa, but for the broader international community. Finding pathways to resolution is without a doubt a challenging task. It requires a multifaceted approach involving diplomacy, economic incentives, and sometimes military intervention. The goal is to achieve a sustainable peace, one that addresses the root causes of conflict and paves the way for long-term stability. It's a delicate balance, but with concerted effort and international cooperation, resolution is within reach.